Hi folks, today I'm going to show you how to build one of our newest products. It's a TRIGA Kiosk, an extremely versatile product that allows you to set up a kiosk with a header, great for exhibitions, registration areas for exhibitions and trade shows, shopping center promotions, in-store product promotions and so on. Inside the TRIGA bag just like with every other TRIGA kit, there's an instructional. We call it a data pack. Follow the build instruction from the bottom up. So feet, crossbars, uprights, and prints, and you'll be good to go. To start, I'm going to lay out all the components so everything's organized, easy for me to access and easy to find. So organize everything as like for like, poles together, crossbars together, feet and prints to one side. What you'll notice with this kit, so most of the main components are the same, the uprights and the crossbars. The only difference is in the feet. So we've designed new feet for this configuration. There's two at the front that sit at a 45-degree angle, and then two rear feet that have got a double slot for two poles that we need to fit. Lay out the feet in the general configuration as you see on your data pack. Fit the uprights. So the rear feet will fit them into the front slot. Lay the foot down temporarily. We'll lock them in place with a crossbar later. Do the same with the front feet. Right, now you grab your bottom crossbars and lock everything into place. We want the rear feet facing back with this slot open for the rear pole. It'll make sense a little bit later. Get your short bottom crossbars. Put those at 90 degrees, lock them in place. Then your front counter poles, make sure the foot is orientated 45 degrees in. And then finally, bottom crossbar on the counter configuration in. Right, so we built the base of the counter. We're going to lock in the top with the top crossbars now. Let's just find a slot, push it in. Again, the tighter you press, the tighter the fit. And then the short ones. Right, now we're going to fit the rear panel, the totem section. The bottoms are bottom crossbars that have the female connectors at the top ready to fit the top poles. Find the slot, twist and lock. Find the poles, find the slot, twist and lock. Right, the rear panel that we're going to extend now, lock it in place with the bottom crossbar. And while you're down there, fit the braces to stabilize the system. Remember, for counters, it's one per side. And if you stick to a side, if you go left, left on all the sides. So there. The last one in. Right, it's time for the top poles. On this system, the top poles have got an extra hub because we're going to put a crossbar across for the header. Get that top crossbar locked in. If it's too high or too tall or you're short like me, just loosen the poles, do it on the ground. Now, because this section here is going to be open and we're going to have a header, we need another crossbar across here. There'll be a bottom crossbar. And lock it in place. Right, finally, the last two parts we need to fit are the shelf supports. So those will go across the two uprights of the counter. If you want to find a level, a way to cheat is just borrow one of these braces here and use it as a measuring guide. And do the same on the opposite side. Right, that's the hardware setup. I'm going to fit the countertop and the shelf temporarily just to show you how they fit without prints on. Typically, you would fit them after the prints have been fitted. In your countertop carry bag, there'll be a top and a shelf. The top has got locators on 4 sides. It's a question of fitting it into the gap, finding the slot locks into place. The shelf has got cutouts that correspond with your uprights. Just angle the shelf in slightly, find the supports and drop it in. I'm going to take the countertop off and fit the prints for you now. We can leave the shelf in place. Right, open up your prints, unsleeve them. Try not to rest them on the floor, just hang them over the system for now. Right, I'm going to start with the top print. I'm just going to need a little bit of help, so we're going to fit this one here before we fit the counter print. I'm going to grab a step. This is a double-sided print. So that's the front of the print, and that would be the back. So again, we've got a webbing stitched top and bottom of the print, and the sides would be hemmed. So find the channel at the top, tuck it in, find the center more or less. Remember, you're going to have excess here that wraps around. Bring the rest of the print around the back and tuck it into the rear channel. Right, bring this excess or the bleed around the top again and tuck that into the top channel. Overlap the webbing from the rear side with the extension of the print. Tuck that in as well. Then we're going to tuck in the bottoms. So I'll start at the back, work your way around. And I find when you get to the ends like this, just tuck the webbing up, makes it easier to get the webbing into the channel when you go around the corner. Right, that's the last bit of bleed that goes underneath, and we tuck the rest of the back of the print, overlap it underneath the webbing from the overlap. At this point, just fine tune everything, straighten it up. At this point you can release the tensioners on the top. Right, that's the header print done. If you get a bit of creasing like this, all you need to do is just slide it over. Okay, there's two prints for the counter. The main counter print, which is your longer print. And then we've got a panel, single panel that closes up the back if you just want some temporary kind of closure for the back of the shelf so that you can control access. We'll start with the main print. Find the front of the print, tuck it in to the top of the channel. Find the center. And tuck in the rest of the print at the top. You're going to come in inside the uprights on this side. We'll do the same for the bottom, starting from the middle front. And the right hand side. And then tuck in the last of the bleed at the very bottom, the back of the counter. Right, just before we fit the countertop, we want to activate the tensioners on the counter section. So just push and release, push and release. And on counters with TRIGA, we will then use the latches to lock the tensioners in place so that there's no travel on the springs and the surface is nice and stable. And finally, we place the top. Locators find the slot, and that is your TRIGA Go kiosk. Perfect for in-store promotions, registration areas for trade shows or exhibitions, and product launches. The system's modular, so you're not restricted to a single unit. We can build onto the system infinitely, so we can have an array of 10 kiosks in a row, all interconnected. We can have the headers running as one continuous header, or we can put a header on every alternate module, but still have them interconnected with the countertops. It's one of your newest products from TRIGA Go.